The church was filled with soft murmurs and the gentle rustling of silk dresses. Emma stood just behind the heavy wooden doors, her heart pounding louder than the organ music that drifted through the sanctuary. She took a deep breath, steadying her trembling hands against the smooth fabric of her wedding dress. Outside, hundreds of guests waited, their eyes fixed on the aisle, expecting the perfect bride to appear. But Emma felt anything but perfect. Nathan stood at the altar, his tall frame radiating calm confidence. His dark eyes scanned the crowd, but his attention was fixed entirely on Emma. He noticed the slight quiver in her step, the subtle tension in her shoulders. No one else saw what he did, a tiny, barely noticeable opening at the back of her gown, revealing a delicate piece of fabric folded carefully beneath the lace. A hidden message, a secret only he could understand. The moment the doors swung open, Emma's carefully constructed world shifted. She moved forward slowly, every step measured, as though the weight of the dress was heavier than just cloth and thread. Nathan's gaze never wavered. He remembered the countless nights when she had confessed her fears, the moments when her past had threatened to consume her. The embroidered words hidden in her dress were a reminder of those dark nights, a silent pact between them. As Emma reached the aisle, the sunlight caught the shimmering beads sewn onto her dress, sparkling like tears frozen in time. She forced a smile, but her eyes betrayed her anxiety. Memories flashed unbidden. A broken home whispered rumors, a family scandal that could destroy the life she had built with Nathan. She had buried those memories deep, locking them away beneath the layers of tulle and silk. Nathan's mind raced as the ceremony began. The officiant's voice was calm, steady, but Emma's hands gripped the bouquet so tightly her knuckles turned white. He knew the secret she carried was more than just a hidden message. It was a burden she feared would unravel everything today. Halfway through the vows, a sudden movement in the back caught Nathan's attention. A woman, late to the ceremony, slipped quietly into a seat near the aisle. The woman's eyes flickered with recognition when she saw Emma. Nathan's pulse quickened. That guest was no stranger, and her presence could awaken long-buried truths. Emma glanced toward the woman and swallowed hard. The smile she wore now felt brittle, like a fragile mask. Nathan reached out discreetly, brushing his thumb against her hand, grounding her. He was her anchor, the only one who knew the full story behind the dress and the secrets it concealed. The pastor's voice softened as Nathan repeated his vows, his tone steady and reassuring. Emma's heart caught at the sincerity behind his words. He wasn't just promising love and support today. He was promising to protect her, no matter what storms might come. The ceremony moved forward, but the tension between Emma's past and present hovered invisibly in the air. Nathan thought of the nights they had spent in quiet conversation, the times she had whispered her fears to him in the dark. That hidden message on the dress was their silent agreement, a reminder that no matter what, he would stand by her side. As Emma took the final step toward Nathan, a sudden breeze fluttered the edges of her dress, briefly revealing the secret once again. Nathan's heart skipped a beat. He silently vowed to guard that secret with his life. For a moment, time seemed to freeze. Emma looked into Nathan's eyes, searching for reassurance. He smiled softly, giving her the strength to keep going. Today was not just a wedding. It was a promise, a new beginning built on trust, courage, and a love strong enough to hold even the deepest secrets. As Emma moved slowly down the aisle, her eyes fixed on the altar, Nathan's attention was drawn to the subtle detail no one else seemed to notice. The back of her wedding dress wasn't just fabric sewn together to create a beautiful gown. Hidden beneath the delicate lace was a secret, an embroidered message stitched with invisible thread, tucked carefully inside a small opening that only Nathan had seen. He recognized the pattern instantly. It wasn't just any secret. It was something from their past, something that bound them in ways the world could never understand. Nathan's heart tightened as memories rushed back. Years ago, when their relationship was new and fragile, Emma had shared a painful secret with him, one she had carried alone for far too long. It was a truth that could ruin everything if revealed. Nathan had promised then, in the quietest moment, to protect her. The message on the dress was their silent vow, a reminder of that promise. Now, standing in front of everyone, Nathan realized the weight of that secret was heavier than he had ever imagined. The ceremony continued around them, voices blending into a soft hum, but Nathan's focus never wavered. The message embroidered in delicate silver thread read, "Stay strong." It was simple, yet powerful. To anyone else, it might have seemed like a decorative flourish. To Nathan, it was a lifeline, a beacon in the darkest times. He wondered why Emma had chosen to wear it today, on the day they would declare their love for the world. Was it courage? Or a plea for help? Emma's steps faltered slightly as she reached the halfway point down the aisle. She glanced briefly over her shoulder, aware that Nathan's gaze was fixed on that secret message. For years, she had hidden her past beneath layers of charm and grace. Now, with all eyes on her, the hidden truth seemed closer to the surface than ever. She feared what might happen if anyone else discovered the message. Would her carefully built life come crashing down? Nathan's mind raced. He remembered the long nights they had spent talking about her family, the things she'd witnessed, the pain she tried to forget. That secret had shaped her in ways no one understood. And now, by carrying it with her on this day, Emma was telling him something unspoken. She needed him more than ever. As she approached the altar, a sudden whisper of fabric caught Nathan's attention again. A soft breeze from the open doors stirred the folds of her dress, revealing the hidden embroidery for just a moment longer. Nathan's breath caught. That message was more than words. It was a shield, a declaration that Emma was still fighting, still standing despite everything. Emma's eyes met Nathan's, and in that moment, no words were needed. He reached out and gently brushed the hair away from her face, his touch steadying her trembling form. Their connection deepened, built on trust and shared secrets. Nathan silently vowed that no matter what came next, he would be her protector. Suddenly, the ceremony was interrupted by a quiet murmur from the back of the room. Nathan's eyes flicked toward a new figure entering, a woman with sharp eyes and an air of purpose. She moved slowly, her gaze locked on Emma, as if searching for something buried beneath the layers of lace and silence. Nathan's chest tightened. He recognized her instantly. She was a relative Emma had hoped to never see again. Emma's breath hitched. Her perfect wedding day was suddenly clouded with the threat of exposure. Nathan tightened his grip on her hand, silently telling her he was ready for whatever lay ahead. The woman's footsteps echoed in the quiet church, closing the distance between the past Emma wanted to hide and the present she was forced to face. The message on the dress seemed to pulse with urgency. It wasn't just a secret anymore, it was a warning. Nathan's mind screamed for action, but he remained calm on the surface, ready to shield Emma from the storm threatening to break. The ceremony resumed, but the air between Emma and Nathan was charged with unspoken tension. The dress, once a symbol of beauty and celebration, now carried the weight of a secret that could change everything. And Nathan knew, deep down, that this was only the beginning of a long fight to protect the woman he loved. As the final vows approached, Nathan's voice was steady and strong, filled with promise and determination. Emma's eyes searched his face for reassurance, and in his steady gaze, she found the courage to face the truth that waited just beneath the surface of her wedding dress. Years before this wedding day, When Emma and Nathan were just beginning their journey together, there was a night neither of them would ever forget. The city lights outside the small apartment cast soft glows across the room, but inside, the shadows weighed heavy. Emma sat on the edge of the couch, her fingers nervously twisting a silver ring that had belonged to her mother. Nathan watched her quietly, waiting for her to find the courage to speak. The silence stretched until finally, she whispered the truth she had kept locked away for so long. Her childhood had been fractured, broken by lies, betrayals, and a family secret that no one dared to mention aloud. Emma's parents had fallen apart under the weight of shame, and she had been left to pick up the pieces alone. The scars ran deeper than anyone could see. She feared that if Nathan knew everything, he would walk away. But Nathan, who had fallen deeply for her gentle strength, only reached out, his hand warm and steady. "I'm not going anywhere," he said simply. "Whatever it is, we'll face it together." His promise was a lifeline in the darkness, a vow that they would build something new from the wreckage of her past. In the days that followed, Emma embroidered those words, "Stay strong," into a piece of fabric. It was meant to be a private reminder, a shield against the memories that sometimes swallowed her whole. She kept it hidden, a secret tucked away from the world, until the day Nathan asked her to marry him. On that day, Emma made a choice. She would wear the message close to her heart, sewn into her wedding dress where only Nathan could see. It was her way of saying that despite the pain and fear, she was ready to trust him completely. Nathan understood immediately when he saw it, feeling the weight of her courage as clearly as if she had spoken aloud. Now standing together at the altar, that past seemed both distant and dangerously close. Nathan thought of all the times Emma had broken down in tears, the nights spent comforting her through memories she could never fully escape. The embroidered words weren't just a piece of fabric, they were a testament to her resilience, a symbol of the battles she had fought silently. Emma glanced around the church, her eyes lingering on the faces of family and friends. Most of them had no idea what lay beneath her dress. No one knew about the late nights filled with whispered fears, or the phone calls from relatives who dredged up old wounds. Emma had learned to hide behind a smile, but the dress was different. It was a part of her truth, exposed but safe because Nathan was the only one who could read it. The quiet strength of that secret gave her a small measure of peace. She had come so far from the scared girl she once was, and today was proof of that journey. But the arrival of the distant cousin at the ceremony was a reminder that the past could still reach out, threatening to pull her back into the shadows. Nathan squeezed her hand gently, silently reminding her that she was no longer alone. Whatever came next, they would face it together. Emma nodded, drawing courage from his presence, from the promise stitched into the fabric of her dress. As the ceremony continued, Emma's mind drifted back to the day she first embroidered the message. She remembered the tears that fell onto the delicate fabric as she worked, the quiet prayers for strength to keep moving forward. It was a private act of defiance against the pain she carried. Now, surrounded by light and love, that defiance was louder than ever. Nathan's voice broke through her thoughts, steady and filled with warmth. He spoke of love that could heal, of trust that could bind even the deepest wounds. Emma's heart swelled with hope. The secret she had hidden for so long was no longer a burden. It was a bridge between their past and their future. The church bells rang softly outside, echoing the promise they had just made. Emma and Nathan stood side by side, ready to face whatever shadows the future held. The dress, with its hidden message, was no longer just a garment. It was a symbol of survival, strength, and the unbreakable bond between two souls who had chosen to heal together. Emma's smile felt fragile now, like fine glass trembling on the edge of a table. The late guest, who had slipped into the church earlier, caught her eye again. A distant cousin she hadn't seen in years, but never quite forgotten. The woman's presence sent a cold wave of unease rippling through Emma's chest. Nathan noticed immediately, his grip tightening around her hand as if anchoring her to the present. The cousin's sharp gaze seemed to cut through the crowd, locking onto Emma with something close to suspicion or maybe judgment. Emma swallowed hard, feeling the weight of old wounds opening beneath the surface. The past she'd buried so carefully was stirring, threatening to spill into this perfect day. She glanced toward Nathan, searching for reassurance, and found it in his steady eyes. Her heart pounded louder as the ceremony progressed, the words of the officiant blending with the whispers in her mind. The secret hidden in her dress felt heavier than ever, like a ticking clock counting down to a moment she dreaded. Nathan's presence was her only solace. He leaned in slightly, his voice low and steady. "We'll get through this. Together." Emma nodded, but inside, fear gnawed at her. The cousin had always been a reminder of the family fractures she'd fought to escape. There were stories no one dared speak aloud, stories that could unravel the life she and Nathan were building. As the ceremony moved forward, Emma's eyes darted toward the cousin again. She was seated now, but her expression hadn't softened. If that woman spoke, everything could change. Nathan's mind raced too. He remembered the hushed conversations Emma had with close friends about the family secrets, bitter betrayals, lost fortunes, whispered accusations. He wished he could shield her completely, but some battles had to be faced head-on. The message embroidered inside her dress was more than comfort. It was a reminder of the strength she needed for what lay ahead. The reception hall buzzed with laughter and music, but Emma felt trapped beneath the weight of the unknown. The cousin's arrival had broken the fragile calm, and Emma sensed eyes flicking toward her, sensing the tension even if they didn't know its cause. Nathan stayed close, never letting go of her hand, his calm presence a lifeline in the storm. Later, as guests mingled and danced, the cousin approached quietly. Emma's breath caught, the room narrowing until it was just the two of them. The woman's voice was low, almost a whisper. "You think you can hide the truth forever, don't you?" Emma's chest tightened. The words cut deeper than she expected. Nathan stepped forward, his expression firm, blocking the cousin's path. "This day is about Emma and me, not old wounds." The cousin's eyes flickered with something unreadable, but she stepped back, at least for now. Emma felt tears welling up, not from sorrow, but from the fierce relief of having Nathan beside her, ready to fight for her. The secret in her dress was no longer just hers to bear. Nathan had made it his own. That night, alone in their suite, Emma peeled off the dress carefully. The secret message, hidden beneath layers of lace and silk, caught the soft moonlight. She traced the words with trembling fingers, "Stay strong." The phrase felt like a lifeline thrown across the years, from her past self to the woman she was becoming. Nathan joined her silently, wrapping his arms around her. "You don't have to hide anymore," he said gently. "We'll face everything, no matter what comes." Emma leaned into him, the fear still lingering, but less sharp now. The dress had held more than fabric. It had held her secrets, her pain, and her hope. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, but tonight, with Nathan beside her, she felt ready to face whatever shadows awaited. Together, they stood at the edge of a new beginning. The hidden message on the dress a quiet but powerful reminder that some secrets, when shared with love, could become the foundation of strength. Days passed after the wedding, but the shadow of that unexpected guest lingered in Emma's mind like a cold whisper she couldn't shake. Nathan noticed her growing unease, the way her smile faded when certain family members approached, the restless nights when she stared out the window, lost in thought. Though the ceremony was over, the real battle was only beginning. One evening, as the sun dipped behind the city skyline, Nathan found Emma sitting quietly in their new home. She held a small, folded piece of paper, one she had pulled from a secret pocket in her wedding dress. The edges were worn, the ink faded but still legible. Nathan's heart skipped. This wasn't just a message of encouragement anymore. It was a call for help from a past Emma had tried to bury. Emma's voice trembled as she finally spoke about the woman who had crashed her perfect day. The cousin wasn't just an old relative with a grudge. She was the key to a family mystery Emma had fought to keep locked away. Years ago, money had disappeared from the family's fortune, accusations had flown, and alliances shattered. The cousin believed Emma held the truth, or at least, the secret to restoring what was lost. Nathan listened carefully, his protective instincts kicking in. He knew their quiet life was about to be uprooted. But more than that, he understood the weight Emma carried. The fear that if the secret was revealed, everything they had built could crumble. The hidden message in the dress wasn't just a symbol of strength. It was a shield against exposure. Together, they decided to confront the past head-on. Nathan reached out to an old family lawyer who had been quietly involved in the dispute. The lawyer's office was filled with dusty files and faded photographs, evidence of a tangled history that spanned decades. As they sifted through documents, the truth began to emerge, an intricate web of betrayal, lost trust, and a secret inheritance Emma had never known she had a right to. The revelation shook Emma to her core. She was not just a victim of her family's chaos. She was an heir, the rightful owner of something valuable. But with that power came danger. The cousin who had appeared at the wedding wasn't just angry. She was desperate, willing to do whatever it took to claim what she believed was hers. Nathan tightened his grip on Emma's hand as they left the lawyer's office. The fight ahead wasn't just legal, it was deeply personal. Emma's wedding dress, with its hidden message, suddenly felt like a battle flag, one that marked her courage and the strength she would need to protect her future. Back home, Emma spent hours at her sewing table, carefully reinforcing the hidden pocket in her dress. The "Stay Strong" message was more than just words now. It was a promise, a vow she made to herself and Nathan that no matter what storms came, she wouldn't back down. Late one night, Nathan heard a quiet knock at the door. Emma opened it to find the cousin standing there, her face a mixture of desperation and anger. "We need to talk," she said softly. Nathan stepped forward, his presence firm and unyielding. "Not here," he said quietly. "We'll talk, but on our terms." The cousin hesitated, then nodded, understanding she had met more resistance than she expected. As the door closed behind her, Emma felt a strange mix of fear and relief. The secret that had been hidden beneath her dress was no longer a silent burden. It was now the key to everything: her past, her present, and the uncertain future she and Nathan would face together. The night stretched on, filled with whispered conversations, uneasy alliances, and the first steps toward healing wounds long left open. Emma's heart still ached with uncertainty, but Nathan's steady presence reminded her that no secret was too heavy when shared with love. In that quiet room, with the hidden message still tucked close to her skin, Emma realized something vital. Strength wasn't just about hiding scars. It was about facing them, hand in hand, and choosing to move forward. The days that followed were a whirlwind of confrontation and revelation. Emma and Nathan had barely settled into their new life before the past they tried to escape began demanding its due. The cousin's arrival wasn't a simple family dispute anymore. It was a challenge that cut to the heart of everything Emma believed about herself. Nathan stood by Emma's side as they met with lawyers, family members, and old acquaintances. Each meeting peeled back another layer of the tangled history, a story of betrayal, lost fortunes, and hidden documents that hinted at a secret inheritance. Emma's eyes, once filled with hope on her wedding day, now carried the weight of suspicion and exhaustion. But through it all, Nathan's presence was unwavering. He reminded Emma that the secret message stitched into her wedding dress was more than just words. It was a mantra, a reminder of the strength she had carried through every hardship. "Stay strong," he said one evening as they sat quietly, the city lights casting a soft glow through the window. "This isn't just a dress. It's your armor." Emma clung to that idea as they faced each new challenge. The cousin's demands grew louder, her attempts to intimidate more blatant. There were late-night phone calls, mysterious emails, and even whispers among family circles that threatened to tarnish Emma's reputation. The pressure was relentless. One afternoon, as Emma sifted through old letters found in a forgotten box, a chilling realization struck her. There was a letter addressed to her mother, sealed but never delivered. The letter hinted at truths long buried, proof that could clear Emma's name and unravel the cousin's claims. But finding it was only the first step. Emma had to decide whether to expose the family's darkest secrets or keep the fragile peace intact. Nathan urged her to be brave. "We can't build a future on lies," he said softly. "The truth is scary, but it's the only way forward." Emma nodded, though her heart pounded with fear. That night, as she sewed a small pocket inside her dress to hide the letter, she felt the weight of generations pressing down on her. Yet, beneath the fear was a quiet resolve. The hidden message, "Stay strong," was more than a promise. It was a lifeline pulling her toward courage she didn't know she had. The day came when Emma confronted the cousin, letter in hand. The meeting was tense, words sharp and laced with years of pain. Emma spoke calmly, but firmly, revealing the truth that had been kept in shadows. The cousin's face twisted with anger and disbelief, but Emma saw something else flicker beneath. Regret, maybe even relief. Nathan watched silently, knowing this moment could change everything. In the end, the cousin agreed to drop her claims, but not without conditions. She demanded recognition and a portion of the inheritance, an uneasy truce forged in the crucible of shared history. Emma accepted, knowing some wounds would take longer to heal. That night, as Emma stood before a mirror, her wedding dress draped over the chair, she ran her fingers over the hidden message. The journey was far from over, but she no longer felt alone. Nathan's hand found hers in the reflection, a silent promise that together they could face whatever the future held. The dress had been more than a garment. It had been a shield, a secret, and a symbol of resilience. And now, with the truth finally out in the open, Emma understood that strength wasn't about hiding scars. It was about embracing them, standing tall, and moving forward, hand in hand with the man who loved her fiercely. Emma woke up to the soft morning light filtering through the curtains, feeling a calm she hadn't experienced in weeks. The storm of family drama had settled into a cautious quiet. Nathan was already up, moving quietly in the kitchen, making coffee. The normalcy of the moment felt like a fragile gift. Their wedding day still lingered in Emma's mind, not just the celebration, but the secret message she had worn beneath her dress. That small, hidden stitch had become a symbol of everything they'd survived and everything yet to come. Today, it felt like a starting point, not an end. Nathan handed her a cup of coffee and smiled. "How are you feeling?" he asked gently. Emma took a sip, savoring the warmth. "Stronger," she replied, "like I can finally breathe." They had spent months untangling the mess left behind by Emma's family. The cousins' demands had forced truths into the open, but they had also reopened old wounds. Yet, through it all, Emma felt something new, a quiet confidence that came from facing fear and choosing to move forward. Their lives began to settle into a new rhythm. Emma returned to her work, throwing herself into projects with renewed energy. Nathan supported her every step of the way, his belief in her unwavering. But the past wasn't entirely gone. Occasionally, Emma caught herself glancing at the hidden pocket inside her dress, a reminder of the secrets she still carried. One evening, as they prepared dinner, Emma shared a thought she had been holding back. What if the message in the dress wasn't just for me? What if it's for anyone who feels broken, scared, or lost? Nathan looked up, intrigued. You mean like a symbol for others to find strength? Emma nodded. Exactly. We've been through so much, and if my story could help someone else, maybe the secret I carried can become a beacon. Nathan smiled, reaching across the table to take her hand. I think that's a beautiful idea. Inspired by that conversation, Emma began writing, a journal of her journey, the struggles, the hidden pain, and the hope she found in Nathan's love and the message she'd stitched into her wedding dress. Each word was cathartic, a step toward healing and helping others who might be fighting silent battles. As her story spread quietly through friends and family, Emma received messages from people she had never met, strangers who saw themselves in her struggles and found comfort in her words. The secret message, once a hidden stitch, became a shared symbol of resilience. But life, as it often does, had a way of testing even the strongest bonds. One afternoon, Nathan received a call that stirred the calm. An old business partner, someone Nathan had trusted, was making accusations that threatened to unravel the peace they had fought so hard to build. Emma watched as the tension in Nathan's shoulders grew, recognizing the look of a man preparing for a new battle. Without hesitation, she stood beside him, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The hidden message in her dress reminded her of one unchanging truth. Strength wasn't just about enduring alone. It was about standing together. Days turned into weeks as they navigated the storm, but this time, Emma felt different. She wasn't just fighting for herself. She was fighting for the life they were building. Nathan's faith in her was a steady flame, and her own resilience had blossomed into something fierce. One quiet night, as they sat together watching the stars, Emma leaned into Nathan. "No matter what comes," she whispered, "we'll stay strong." Nathan kissed her forehead, a promise echoed in the silent night. The wedding dress, with its hidden message, had carried them through their darkest hours. Now, it was a symbol of a future forged from love, courage, and unbreakable trust. Their story wasn't over. It was only beginning. The storm that Nathan and Emma had feared arrived quietly, but with relentless force. The accusations from Nathan's former business partner quickly spread, threatening not only Nathan's reputation, but the fragile peace they had painstakingly built. Emma watched the news unfold with a growing knot of anxiety in her stomach. Yet beneath the worry, there was a hardened resolve. The secret message sewn into her wedding dress whispered to her once more, "Stay strong." Nathan faced the public head-on, refusing to let the past define him. Emma was his anchor, attending meetings, handling press inquiries, and standing by his side with unwavering support. Every challenge was a test, but together they refused to buckle. The strength she had hidden in the fabric of her dress became the strength they shared. Emma found herself drawing courage not just from Nathan's determination, but from the battles they had overcome, her family's secrets, the cousins' threats, and now this. Late one evening, Nathan sat beside Emma on their porch, exhaustion etched into his face. "We can get through this," he said quietly, reaching for her hand. "Because we have each other." Emma squeezed his hand, thinking of every difficult moment they had faced together. The fear, the tears, the silent promises whispered in the dark. She realized that the secret she had hidden beneath her dress was no longer a secret at all. It was a story of survival, resilience, and unwavering love. In the following weeks, as the accusations slowly lost their grip, Emma and Nathan focused on rebuilding what had been threatened. Emma began hosting small gatherings, creating a space where people could share their own stories of pain and healing. The message from her wedding dress grew into a movement, one of hope and courage for those struggling in silence. The couple's life was no longer just about them. It was about community, about reaching out with honesty and compassion. Emma's writing flourished, and Nathan's business slowly regained its footing, strengthened by the integrity they had fought so hard to protect. One afternoon, as Emma prepared for a talk at a local event, Nathan surprised her with a gift, a new dress, elegant and simple, but with a small pocket carefully sewn inside. Emma smiled, recognizing the quiet tradition they had begun. "This one's for the future," Nathan said softly. "For everything we've built and everything yet to come." Emma's eyes filled with tears, not of sadness, but of gratitude. The dress symbolized more than a past secret. It was a testament to how far they had come and the love that had carried them through. As the sun set, casting golden light over their home, Emma thought back to the nervous bride standing at the altar, hiding a message only Nathan knew. That secret had been their foundation, a reminder that even in the darkest moments, strength could be found in love and truth. Their journey wasn't perfect. It wasn't easy, but it was theirs, woven together by courage, trust, and the unspoken vow to always stay strong. Together, Emma and Nathan stepped into their future, ready to face whatever came next, their hearts forever bound by a secret that was no longer hidden, but shared, shining brightly in the fabric of their lives.